It's official. We have a well and a giant mess, but it comes with digging a well. Unfortunately, we had to go 100 feet deeper than expected, and we're still going to need to put in a tank to store water because it does not pump out enough, which is what it is. We'll still get water out of it, and it's going to cost a little bit more because now we still have to get a large enough tank so that we don't that way we don't have to worry about water. But all in all, it's done. So that's our first utility is on the property, so step in the right direction. All right, we missed most of November, or most of October here, but now November, and Dad's here, and we're gonna start putting the rafters up for the ceiling, and then we're gonna end up going out getting some sheathing, sheath all the way around, get some on the roof, do a metal roof, and gotta finish framing out these windows. But today we're just gonna focus on rafters and get those up today, so I'm gonna get after it. Unfortunately, I had to leave a little early yesterday, so didn't get as far as we wanted, but my dad stayed after a little bit and got the first two up for the rafters. So looking good. Figured out our birds' mouths that we're gonna need, where they're gonna be located. Got our angle for up top, so we can start pre-cutting some more and then start working our way down the ridge beam, and then we'll do a chalk line on the ends for our overhang, and we'll just lob those off later. One thing I did want to point out though is over here, so our corners for hanging our drywall, we got overhang on each side, so when we go to hang our drywall we'll have something to connect to. But another thing I wanted to show you is that leaves this big gap right here. So I'm gonna end up stuffing some insulation up in here, and that will help with some of the thermal bridging and some of the heat, especially in the winter, that'll be able to escape. That'll help insulate the corners of the house and get a little bit extra there and limit the amount of thermal bridging that happens in this tradition. So gonna be doing that today. I'm also gonna be finishing up these windows and get those framed out so that we can at least toss them in, and then I'll end up cutting a couple more of those today as well and potentially get some up, but we'll see how far we get. All right, Alright, so I'm going to show you a little trick that I do that helps with water management in your windows. So as you can tell, this is the length that I need for my bottom sill plate for my window. And what I did here is I'm going to make this cut with the 5 degree with my square. So 5 degrees sloping out. So when I put that in place, like this one is, you can tell that it's on a slight angle going outwards. So that way, if any water does get past the window and along the edges, it's going to come to this sill plate and it's still going to want to drain out and outside of the house instead of sitting in here and rotting this wood out, and or even worse, spilling into the shed. That's just something that I like to do as an extra fail-safe in case any water does get behind your windows. So when you're doing this method where you get that slight 5% grade going out, you got to make sure you cut the 5% grade on the bottom, but it's also important to have that 5% grade on the jack as well going up, so that way by the time you get up to your header, you still have a nice level surface to go put your header up in. So little thing to keep in mind as well that I forgot to mention when I was showing you earlier. Alright, time to check the work. So let's see here. Up against there. Alright, so I'm a little bit big, but big is better. So I'm like 3/4 too large. A little bit more than you want, but nothing a shim can't fix. And then we need 53 3/4, and we're at 54, which I did on purpose because that gives me an extra 1/4 inch where I can shim it up, make sure it's level and nice and sitting there good. So first one's down, looking good. Start marking up those two, and then I'll start cutting up the jacks and getting them ready. I already got the headers and the sill plates themselves cut, but just gonna get the jacks cut and marked and then start putting those last two together. One, two, three windows all framed in. Time to start using the template, make some more rafters so that way we can get going on that roof. Well, sun's going down, about to call it a day. Got a lot done though. Got windows, all 3 of them framed up, and minus that first rafter on the end. You got all the way out here, so we're basically halfway done with rafters. No, let's put on rake edges, but tomorrow I'll have my dad here again, and we'll go bring some sheathing down so we can start sheathing the walls and maybe even the roof after we finish all the way out to the end for the rafters. So hopefully that goes smoothly tomorrow, and then we'll have Thursday to finish up any sheathing, and then we'll pretty much enclose minus actually putting in the windows and the doors.